Good morning. We're excited to talk to Jayson Bernard, the man that is just doing stuff in Hollywood. I know that you did Hollywood, and that's been such a cult classic.
Keep it busy. We were fortunate enough to wrap a lot of films before the pandemic happened. During the pandemic, it was just basically getting ready for distribution and, knowing that the films were coming out. It's been odd, it's been a little different and, challenging during the times, obviously for everybody, but especially for the industry. But it also helped a little bit because people were more at home. So, they got to see films that maybe they wouldn't have watched on a normal basis if they were able to go to the theaters, on the behalf of independent filmmakers who, sometimes don't get it to the theaters. So it kind of helps everybody around that way. But we've been just keeping busy, trying to make sure that, when everything opens up again, that, we're ready to go and that we're ready to get working again.
So let's talk about your two projects you have.
Yes, Divos and Never and Again. Never and Again.
Never and Again. Yeah. I like that. Never and Again.
Never and Again.
It makes you think about a lot of things. So of course, we need to know about. Tell me about this film.
Never and Again is now on BET Plus. We're really excited. It is one of their #1 films aired so far. It is starring Denise Boutte, Jackie Long, Christian Keys, myself, Vanessa Simmons, a lot of legends such as B.B. Drake and Miss Ella Joyce herself. So we have a lot of great people in there. I know, isn't she great? We love Miss Ella. And it was produced by Master P and his son, Romeo. And my company, J&R Productions, partnered with the writer and creator, Lazriel Lisson, who owns Summer House Pictures.
That is so exciting.
Yes.
I mean, really, you've got amazing actors in the project. Some I've met and interviewed, Master P himself and his son, and Christian, of course. So this is so brilliant. Tell me about the storyline.
Without giving too much away, it's just basically about, second chances. We all probably can relate to, starting young and having like an idea of what we think, our life is going to be and how it's going to roll. And, it never usually happens that way, or, there's different roads and branches, along the tree that, you got to take. So I think that this movie is just basically about second chances and showing you that it's never too late for love and to find your identity. And it has a little bit of a faith element to it as well.
Tell us about the role you're playing.
I play the funny friend, that's my shtick. I play Wally. I play, Jackie Long's best friend in the film, and he's kind of like a straight shooter and, tells Jackie how it is. And, he's that friend. He's that guy who's, maybe doesn't have the filter he should probably have.
Yeah, we know a lot of people like that.
But he gets the point across, and he's always there for, his buddy, Kevin, which is, Jackie Long's character. He's always there for him. So it was a fun role to play. I got to play a former football player, college football player, that's kind of like fallen off the health wagon. And, him and Jackie Long, his character Kevin, is trying to getting back into shape and, kind of work with him a little bit, so there's like a fun little, little side story arc going on there too. It's really fun to watch.
What was like one of the funniest moments for you, or the most memorable moments for you shooting this project? I'm sure there were many.
There's actually, I don't know why this came to mind, but there's a finale scene where all of the cast is kind of like in a church, and the church is, pretty small. and the pews are, like limited. And it's funny because, movie magic, you're trying to stack people and make the shot look more interesting and everything else. And I'm a big guy, so they have me, on the end, and they have me like shoved into the corner. And I remember I had to shoot like the whole half day with like a quarter of my buttocks on the corner of the seat. And like I'm like all bursting out, but on the camera you can't tell. It looks like, oh, he's comfortable sitting in there. But I was not comfortable at all. And you're trying to be professional. You're trying to just kind of getting it through. And Jackie Long himself is like super funny as just a human being in general. And he's sitting like next to me, and he's like, he sees that I'm like not on the bench the way I'm supposed to be, and he's like, I can't wait till lunch. I am hungry. Aren't you hungry? And he's like trying to, give me a jab because I'm not fitting in this space. But it was pretty funny. But I don't know why, but that always comes to mind as my one of
That is
my
great. That's a funny story. I like that. And you also have Divos out. So tell everybody about Divos.
Divos is kind of like a spoof on High School Musical. You always see like in those types of films the teenage girl kind of like point of view of it. So this movie is a unique and original because it follows two teenage boys fighting for the lead role in their senior year of the school play. And it's starring Matt Steele and Timothy Brundrich, and then we also have Tony Award-winning Marissa Jaret Winokur, and also the very funny Nicole Sullivan, Jake Busey, and Jayson Stewart is in it as well. It was a great film. It follows like these teenage boys, just mean girl style, like they're just real catty and they're real awful. And the things that they will go to get this role is just really funny. But then it has a good story at the end, and makes everyone but that's now on demand. It's everywhere. We're really proud of it. So hopefully people will watch it and enjoy it as well. Well, first of all, I want to be very clear because people ask this a lot, and everyone's journey is so specific and so different. I'm a little bit older and starting later in the game, so like obviously I had, years of work and a little bit of stability before I came out here and did this, and I was fortunate enough to put all my ducks in a row before I jumped right in. Which there's pros to it, and there's also not things that are not so good. The fact that I'm starting so late in the game, I'm not 20, I'm not running around trying to get. So I missed out on some of that, but I think that everyone's journey starts when it's supposed to. Like you have to do it when it's right for you. So and it's not easy. I don't think it's ever been easy for anybody. I do hear sometimes people like, oh, I got discovered in a grocery store and yada yada yada. They still had a journey. You know what I mean? Like let's hear before the grocery store. So but I think that for me personally, it was just a matter of I was never the couch surfing type of person. I wouldn't have been able to live in my car. And none of those things are wrong in that. If that's someone's journey, that's what they did. But it wouldn't have worked for me. It would have stressed me out because of my personality, and it would have made me feel not safe. So I had to start later. I needed to come to California and know I could live in a home and have a safe place for my family. But when I moved out here 5 years ago, we thought we had that dream just like everybody else does that comes here. We thought, oh, this is going to be easy. We had a movie right out the gate, which I think that was the first time I met you, Halloween.
Right.
And we did Halloween, and we're like, oh, this is the grease. This is the bee's knees. We're rolling, And then after Halloween, we didn't work for 2 more years. You know what I mean? So it was everybody's journey, like I said, is unique, and ours was no different. We had our struggles, and
Right.
a lot of it had to do with building connections and building your tribe, surrounding yourself with like really great people that understand you and that, that can support you and just kind of building your network and your system that way. I do believe that that's key, is having people around you that believe in you, and also being able to extend your belief in them, and kind of pushing yourselves. Determination, dedication, and support system. I think that's, three huge things.
Yeah.
You got to be dedicated. If you're not dedicated and you're kind of, it's got to be. And I was just talking to a friend about this the other day. I understand you got to put food on the table, you got to keep the lights on, but you have to find that balance. Even if you're a waiter or you're cleaning toilets or whatever you're doing, to kind of pay the bills, you still have to find that balance. You have to find, that time in the day. You can't just say, well, I had to work today, so now I can't, submit, or I can't audition, or I can't look at the trades, so I can't try to find side, acting jobs or producing jobs. You have to find a balance. You have to dedicate every day a certain amount of time to your craft, and if you don't have that determination, it's not going to come to you. That's one thing I definitely learned out here. It does not come to you. You have to go get it. But I think that would be the key one for me, is dedication. A lot of people think like they're not working and it's not successful and it's not a gig if it's not on NBC. You know what I mean? Or it doesn't go to AMC, if you're hungry and you want to work, you should try to be on set as much as humanly possible. You have a friend who's shooting in their backyard, and, I'm not saying give your life away, but like, if you have a friend shooting in the backyard and they have a role that sounds really interesting to you, you could be like, hey, look, you know what? I'll come do that, and then you cap it, say, but I can only give you 5 hours or whatever that is, to make you feel comfortable about it. But I think you should try to get on set as much as you can, like try to learn and experience it. And that could be like how you're honing your craft too. Like I said, how you have to give a certain amount of time to each day. Like if you went and, waited tables all afternoon and you got the night off and your friend's got a little night gig going on where he needed someone to stand in or an extra, go do it. You know what I mean? It'll make you feel better. I promise you. It's just like, oh, I slaved over and I slung tacos all day, but hey, listen, I got on set today. So, I think those things are important, and it's not easy. Like I wish I could sit here and go, oh, everything's great, and I feel like that's a lot of things are a lot that's kind of, not good about the industry. People sometimes paint an illusion of something that's not really there. And I think that if we all were a little bit more honest about it, or we kind of like expressed, how we got there, or, shared our stories, that people would be more excited and more, willing to try it themselves. There are a lot of stories out there I bet we haven't heard yet, or the beautiful art that we haven't seen yet, because people are afraid, or they don't think they got what I got to do it, and that's not true. You know what I mean? You can do it. I always, and this is something I work on. I'm not gonna say that I always am like this, but I always try to tell myself I would rather be disappointed later than be afraid that I never did it. You know what I mean?
Tell us, what are the things that you want to see, and what makes you drive to say, yes, I want to produce that. I want to be involved in that.
I love underdog stories. I love things that like I think that we need more of. Something that drew me to Never and Again. And it's really it's funny because like it wasn't like it was on brand, or it was popular at the time. Because when we started producing Never and Again, when I sat down with Laz and I heard this story, I was like, this is a really beautiful story about our Black culture, and I really wanted to be involved. And it wasn't because it was in style at the time, because really the Black Lives Matter movement and all of that happened after we were done. So, and I thought when it came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, this was meant to be this way. We were supposed to release this during this time. So I like stories that I feel like are necessary. I felt like, the story should have been told. It showed the Black community and the culture in such a beautiful light. and I felt like it was necessary, So I loved that. And then Divos was the same way. There is a non-binary character, and one of the leads is, he's supposed to be, a gay teenager, looking, and then his whole life isn't about boys and, all this other stuff. It's about the play, you know what I mean? And I thought that was really interesting. And there's not any love story in Divos, it was about, these just happen to be gay teens, a couple of them, that are all fighting for the same thing, this play, their passion. And I thought that was very interesting. I thought that was a story that needed to be told, because whenever you see the LGBTQ community right now, they're in drag, they're, florists, they're, the gay snippety friend next door, so I thought, this is cool. He's just gay kid fighting for this, role. It has nothing to do with it. And he's not going to fall in love with the jock. There's none of that happening. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like some thirsty gay guy, out, it was none of that. So I thought these two particular movies we're talking about today, they had a twist and a story that needed to be told about this particular, group or genre of people. I thought it was great.
If there's one thing, I mean, obviously there's probably many things, but if there was one thing you wanted an audience member to take away when they watch either one of those films, what would be the one thing for each one that you wanted to take away?
That none of us fit into a box. We don't come with a label or an expiration date. We aren't all one thing that you think that and I think that would be the most important thing. Like, I love that, like, I from the Midwest, all my family's from Ohio. I have friends in Indiana and all those places, and I'm not, painting a picture of racism, but it's a very prominently white community. And I loved that they all took a chance to watch, not took a chance, but they all watched Never and Again, because it was our film that we, co-produced, and I was in it. And every single one of them loved it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, see, you can do it. But, none of them commented on, they loved it. They're like, oh my God, this is really cool. They're like, oh, it was a little steamy, because there's like a love scene. And I was like, but yeah, look, they do it too. Perfect. So right now, Never and Again is on BET Plus, Amazon Prime Video, iTunes, and Google. It is the #1 most streamed BET Plus movie right now. We're really excited about that. So, you can watch it on any of those platforms. And it is on Never and Again on all the social medias as well. Divos is now on demand. It's everywhere as well. It's on all your favorite streaming platforms. It's on Amazon, Hulu, Google Play, all those places. And it's Divos the movie for all the social media. And I'm Mr. J Bernard on Twitter. And then I'm Jayson Bernard on Facebook and Instagram. And it's Jayson. So it's everywhere else. And then you can also follow my company at J&R Productions.